The fighting nerds are overhyped. Ruffy got absolutely fraud-checked by BSD this weekend. Borralho lost to Imavov and Prates looked very bad against Garry. But there is one fighting nerd left, and he has the biggest fight in fighting nerd history this weekend, and it's none other than Silva. In other words, what's up guys, Danawhitescousin here. I told you that Benoit Saint-Denis will win against Mauricio Ruffy. But did y'all listen? Y'all did not. Next time perhaps listen to me. But this is not precisely what this video will be about. This video will be purely about the fighting nerds' future. So I will be rating the fighting nerds, each one of them, how I see them doing in the UFC in general. And also I will be matchmaking them. We have the biggest fighting nerds fight this weekend, as I already mentioned. And this is the fighting nerds' last chance to keep the hype alive. Because I think if John Silva loses this, the hype is completely gone. And with hype gone, I don't mean that they won't have a chance to be champion ever again, as you will see later in this video, because I do think some of them have a big potential to do it. But what I'm saying is that the bandwagon fans won't really be on their side anymore. So yeah, let's jump straight into the ratings. Starting off with Caio Borralho, I think he will be a top 5 contender for the most time of his career. He may be champion at one point, but he will definitely be like on the top of the division because he did very well against Imavov, better than I thought. And let's also be real here, there is really no shame in losing to Imavov. I think Imavov is the second best guy in the division after Khamzat, so Caio Borralho is very well rounded. He knows how to use his skills very well. He will definitely beat guys like, who do we have? Michael Van Page. He will beat guys like Cannonier all day, as he already did. I even see him beating Whittaker and maybe even Fluffy Hernandez, to be honest. And it really depends on how the division moves forward, but I really do see him becoming champion at some point. So I think he's definitely someone that you should consider keeping an eye out for. Next up, we already have a controversial one. You know how I feel about Mauricio Ruffy, and that kinda proved itself this weekend. I don't know, man. I think he will be borderline top 15. Like places maybe 13, 14, 15. Maybe just below. Because he really exposed himself in that fight. I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis is an amazing grappler, but there are a lot of amazing grapplers in lightweight. Like, he will not win against Paddy Pimblett. He will not win against Beneil Dariush. He will not win against the Renato Moicano. He will definitely not win against Grant Dawson. Definitely not. And there are a lot of like these elite level grapplers in lightweight. And I think that he has to fix his grappling for a pretty long time before being in the conversation of being like an actual contender again, if that makes sense. I rarely use the word fraud check, but what we witnessed against Benoit Saint-Denis was a complete fraud check. Because not only Benoit Saint-Denis is not like a top 5 contender, but there was no point in this fight where I thought, okay, Ruffy might catch him now, or Ruffy has to do this and this to win the fight. It was just a constant domination of BSD. Ruffy was scared to do anything. He was in defensive mode, but he wasn't defending well. So I think this was a pretty bad display. And it will definitely take Ruffy some time to bounce back from a loss like this, because this was hard to look at, especially for Ruffy fans, as I can imagine. Moving on to CP. I think CP will be a top 10 fighter. Like for the next year at least. I can really see him becoming way better later in his career. But right now with the current welterweight division, hot take, Leon Edwards beats him. And I think he beats him pretty good. So I don't think it will be a completely close fight. I think Leon Edwards completely shuts him down. I know that y'all don't agree with this, but I think that's what happens. I think Leon Edwards is a very good kickboxer. And the only people Leon Edwards really lost to were like these extremely high-paced grapplers, which he just couldn't deal with. And Prates is just a completely different stylistic matchup, and I think Leon will put himself on the map there again. And even fighters like Buckley or like Shafkat, Sean Brady, Bilal, I don't think that Prates has what it takes to beat these guys yet. He can beat like a Michael Morales probably because he has insane striking. But I don't think it's enough for the top of the division just yet. He may improve because the fighting nerds are improving pretty good. That's kind of like their whole philosophy of the gym. But for now, I would say top 10. And the last fighting nerd is John Silva. And this is a very tough one because he is fighting Diego Lopes this weekend. And every day we are coming closer to this fight. I more and more lean towards a 50-50 fight. Because I feel like everything can happen. Can Lopes really like outwork him? Just be like wild, go in, strike like he always does? Or will John Silva catch him if he does that? Because Diego Lopes kind of managed to do that against Volkanovski and he landed good shots. He lost the fight. But then again, Jean Silva hits harder than Volkanovski. And he's very good on the counters. So I really don't want to predict this fight. I know I have to, and I will say that John Silva actually wins this fight. His counters are too good. Lopes rushes in. He has better grappling. I don't think he will be able to take it to the ground. I think Silva is pretty strong. He has pretty good takedown defense. Diego Lopes will pay every time John Silva enters the pocket, and this will be a huge factor in this fight. He will have the bigger moments, and that's how he will win the decision because I don't think he finishes Diego Lopes. So my prediction for John Silva's future in general, champ level. He will be right around champ level at least. We are yet to see him against like a very good offensive grappler like Evloev or obviously Aljamain Sterling as well. But I think he defeats Diego Lopes and that alone puts him like in a top 3 position at least. Not on the rankings, but in terms of contenders and who's going to fight for the belt next. And I see him being in this position for the rest of his career, so actually building a big legacy. This guy's an absolute maniac and he fights like this, he probably trains like this. And this will get you far in the UFC career. He has a very good personality that sells fights. And there's nothing left to say. I think he stays at champ level or right around champ level and stays the best out of the fighting nerds. This is my prediction. So yeah, let me give you guys a few matchmaking ideas I've managed to come up with. I think Caio Borralho should fight Brendan Allen next. Brendan Allen's a very exciting guy and I think Caio Borralho really has the chance to prove himself again and bounce back from the Imavov loss against Brendan Allen because there are no like very big errors he did against Imavov. Imavov was just a better guy in general, but Caio Borralho also looked very good, so I think it would be good for the UFC to keep him like at the top of the middleweight division, and Brendan Allen's an amazing fight to come back. Brendan Allen is ranked 11th, he just won against Marvin Vettori, and I think this will be a good fight. Next we have Mauricio Ruffy. And just give him Sadikov. Sadikov is also a striker. This will be an interesting matchup. Sadikov is also the best striker that Ruffy has fought in the UFC yet. He doesn't have to think too much about the grappling, but it's only a matter of time until the UFC has to give him a grappler again, just for him to prove himself that he actually can hang with the top guys. But it can't be too soon because, as we saw, there are a lot of things he has to work on, and it would be way too early to give him a grappler right now. Yeah, Prates. With Prates, I mean, he probably will fight Leon Edwards. I don't know if it's official yet. I think it is. Yeah, I think Leon Edwards will win because I think people just forgot how good Leon Edwards actually is. He just had some bad fights against some bad stylistic matchups, and I think he will prove that he really belongs at the top of the division. And he can also grapple Prates. He's a very well-rounded fighter. And at last we have Jean Silva, who's obviously fighting Diego Lopes this weekend. So I thought I would just give you guys some suggestions if he wins and if he loses. I think if he wins, just give him a title shot, bro. I mean, why not? There's a very unclear contender situation at featherweight right now. I still believe that Movsar Evloev deserves it the most. Volkanovski thinks so too, so he agrees with me actually. Then we have Lerone Murphy, we have Aljamain Sterling, who both, like, they haven't beat, like, the best competition yet. So just give it to Jean Silva. I think they won't give it to Evloev anyways because he's too inactive. I would really like to see Volk versus John Silva, even though I think Silva could catch him potentially. And if not, we still have like a featherweight title fight. It's long overdue, man. When was the last title fight? In like February or something? That's way too long. And I don't think that Volk wants to stay inactive. He needs an actual contender. So just do John Silva, man. Fuck it, why not? However, if he does lose, I would like to see him against Josh Emmett or Steve Garcia. I would actually like to keep John Silva on top 10 level or right around. If he loses to Lopes, it won't be a fraud check because Lopes is actually a very good fighter. And obviously he has fought for the belt, so there's no shame in losing to Lopes. And if you make him against Garcia or against Emmett, we have two very exciting fights either way. And we keep him on top of the division too. So yeah, that's it. The video actually turned out to be a little bit longer than I expected it to, but that's alright as well. Comment what you think about this whole situation with the fighting nerds, who you would like to match them up with, how you see them doing in the future, and also how John Silva and Diego Lopes will fight this weekend. Who wins? What do you think? Comment it down below. If you like this style of video, feel free to hit this subscribe button just as hard as BSD hit Mauricio Ruffy last week. Anyways, see you guys next week.